Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, Saturday Afternoon Blast Off. There we go. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithm, all the stuff you've been watching, and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you feel like gambling, you can hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. Best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule. I put it up every week, and I mostly stick to the times. There's also the links to all my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. There we go. So, the big news of the week, of course, is so everyone knows that Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus are merging. It's a huge deal. It's a big deal. Zaslav is the CEO behind Discovery Plus that is slashing and burning pretty much everything and anything that's on HBO Max, TBS, movie wise to Adult Swim, all that kind of stuff. Everything is getting slashed because there is a $3 billion deficit they need to make up. So, of course, he's cutting what he can. And one of the casualties of this is the Batgirl movie that starred Leslie Grace. Um, so, why is this happening? Well, it's being shelved. It'll never see the light of day because there is a special tax loophole that anything that was in production that hasn't seen the light of day yet, hasn't made a theatrical release, and there's a company that is merging with another company, they can write off the entire amount for the full amount in taxes. That is anywhere from 90 to $100 million is supposedly what this whole thing is all about. So and supposedly the test screenings haven't been good. That is the other thing that has been bandied about here and there. There's people that are saying, yes, it is good, but a lot more people are saying, no, it's not good. I'm kind of leaning more towards the not good side of what I've been hearing because, well, the directors of it are the guys who did Miss Marvel. So Adil El Arbari and Bilal Falah. I'm going to murder their names. I'm sorry. Um, so there's a couple other things that also play into all of this as well. So Disney Plus made the mistake of airing Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel on the same day, releasing them on the same day. Both were not the greatest of series. As a matter of fact, Miss Marvel is the lowest rated, lowest viewership of any MCU Disney Plus series to date. It only had 775,000 viewers, um, which is a big drop, especially considering that Hawkeye had 1.5 million viewers, which was previously the lowest viewed MCU show. Um, Obi-Wan didn't have that much better. Well, it had more, obviously. It had into the millions at least, or the million, I should say. But as a result of all of this, now Andor and She-Hulk were supposed to premiere on the same day on Wednesdays. That is no longer the case. She-Hulk is now going to be on August 18th, which is a Thursday, and it's going to be airing on every Thursday thereafter. Andor has been moved completely away from it to September 21st. Originally, it was supposed to come out now, um, or at the end of the month. That's right. It was supposed to come out at the end of this month. But now it is September 21st is the new date of Andor. They're releasing the first 3 episodes of Andor on that date. And then I believe it's every Wednesday thereafter. Is that what it is? I can never remember what September 21st. Yes, every Wednesday thereafter. So, um, and this was as a direct result of what happened with the Obi-Wan and the it's SPO, by the way, Marks. Otherwise, if you put an A in there, it comes out to be a very racist term. So it's SBO. um, so yeah, this is all problematic considering that again, like I said, the test numbers were not showing up very well for Batgirl, and Zaslav even went on record saying we are not putting out an inferior. Basically, we're not putting out a shit product, is what he said. So they'd rather have it shelved than damage the reputation. It's already been damaged anyway as it is for DC properties. So they are moving ahead though with Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, and even The Flash. Ezra Miller is The Flash, even though Ezra Miller is now supposedly, allegedly now traveling around the country with a bulletproof vest on and a gun. So if you see him, steer the fuck away from him. Um, yeah, some scary ass shit. So if they're not canceling his fucking movie, but they're canceling this movie, you know that it did pretty bad. Um, so that's the whole thing in a nutshell. And also on the chopping block right now is the Supergirl movie that was also announced from all of this. This is the Supergirl movie as a brunette, I guess is what it was. It looked like shit as well. So honestly, I'm glad that's not coming to the table anymore either. Um, so yeah. Apple Crow says, I mentioned I didn't like Lindelof on Reddit the other day and got a sorry you don't understand. uh, I love that. Yeah, yeah, Lindelof is just a really shitty writer. He really is. um, so yes, uh I'm at D&D right now, so just stop by. Okay. All right. I don't know what D&D is. Dungeons and Dragons, that's what you're at? Is that a swinger club? Is that what's going on? Is it just called Dungeons and Dragons? Is that what the bears are calling themselves these days? Dragons? Anyway, I'm surprised the Flash movie. We're all surprised the Flash movie is still happening, Stanley. I mean, really, we really are. The whole thing also with the Aquaman 2 movie, supposedly Michael Keaton had filmed a scene as Batman in the movie, and the test audiences were confused by it. So they're reshooting that scene with Ben Affleck's Batman now, which Jason Momoa, as I talked about last week, gave that one away. He blew it. He was on a live stream and walked into the trailer with Ben Affleck sitting there in the trailer. So that's already been spoiled. But that's how that all came about. Um, yeah, there was all kinds of weird shit going on in this. Yeah, this week has been weird. That's all I can say. That's the reason why the She-Hulk premiere date is now on August 18th. It's 9 episodes, by the way. Not 6 episodes, but 9 episodes. Andor is 12 episodes and it has 2 seasons. So the 2 seasons are like I said, 12 episodes each. The first season is supposed to be um 4 years, I believe, prior to Rogue One, somewhere around there, or his early life, something like that. And then the second season is going to be the last 4 years of his life, leading up to Rogue One, is what's supposed to happen there. So that's where that sits. And then, again, 12 episodes each season for Andor. Honestly, I'm not that interested in Andor. I'm kind of about it. Um, I am interested to see what they're going to do with She-Hulk. I'm hoping they're going to do something really good with She-Hulk. They did have a new trailer that got released, announcing the new, release date for She-Hulk, and as a result, we got to see Daredevil. We got to see Charlie Cox as Daredevil in that trailer, wearing a yellow and red suit. So, for those of you who are comic aficionados, you know that that was Daredevil's very first suit in the comics, which was yellow and red. They had to change it because, of course, it looked too much like Iron Man. So that's why they changed the suit to all red. Wasn't Keaton in the Batgirl movie? Stanley, he was. And then, of course, that's being shelved. So that's not happening anymore. Yeah. Keaton still is in the Flash movie, the Ezra Miller Flash movie, but who knows if that's still happening or not. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on at the moment. Speaking of which, the CW's Flash series is going to end with season 9 with a 13 episode season 9. Maybe they can actually get to the fucking point in 13 episodes instead of dragging out a 2 episode arc to, 15, 20 episodes, something like that. So Word 79 says, how are they going to cancel a $70 million movie because it wasn't well received? Because they're getting a tax write-off, Word 79, like I said before. So there is a special loophole for companies that are merging. Again, for those of you who are coming in late and aren't going back to the beginning, that's how they're getting a $90 to $100 million tax write-off. So, and honestly, if you're trying to cover a $3 billion loophole, that's a great way to do it. Same thing is happening with Wonder Twins. The Wonder Twins movie is crashing and burning, even though they already hired the stars. When you already cast people, you have to pay them out. So that is going to be a tax write-off on that. Same thing with Supergirl. Supergirl was already cast. You have to pay that person out. That's going to go as a tax write-off. This all goes towards the $3 billion that they owe. And again, it's because of that special tax loophole that they've got going on. Exactly, like you, Marks. Like you. Always like you. Also, a good thing came out of all of this. Gotham Knights has been canceled by the CW. So the CW's version of Gotham Knights has been canceled. That hot garbage of a dumpster fire has, yes, no longer will see the light of day. Thank fucking Cthulhu. Stanley says, are DC shows on CW over now or not? For the most part, yes, except for Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois, I have a feeling is going to be moving over to HBO Max. They actually have a good thing with that going on right now, so I believe that's going to go over there. So is Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's move is still there. Titans is going to be there still. Stargirl is still on CW of all things. That has an August 31st premiere date. So that is what's going on there. And I'm thinking of what else does CW have. The CW just basically has Kung Fu, Dynasty, and I don't know what else. I think that's it. I mean, it's pretty much dead. And the reason why a lot of the CW shows got closed down was because of deals with their where they were shooting their studios. All the leases were up, and to renew those leases was going to cost a lot more money, and they didn't want to do that because of the merger. Again, they're trying to save money, so they shut down those productions. Was what they did. That's the reason why Batgirl went down. That's why, or Batwoman went down. What else went down? Pretty much everything else that's going on over at the CW. Not Gotham Knights, the video game. Word 79. That's different than Gotham Knights, the garbage TV show that's been canceled. Stanley says if they move Soups and the rest to HBO Max, DC on CW is practically over. Maybe Stargirl's the last DC thing on CW. I believe that's what's going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if Stargirl goes back over to it started off on DC Universe, went over to the CW, and I believe I'm fairly sure it's going to move over to HBO Max if it survives its third season. And yes, CW is up for sale, Stanley. You're correct. I mentioned that a while back, like I want to say back in when all this merger shit started. They were talking about selling that thing off. That's not to mention that there are shows on TBS that have been canceled, shows on HBO Max that have been canceled, shows on Adult Swim. A lot of Cartoon Network got just wiped out completely. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Warner Brothers owns that Discovery Plus is just Zaslav is going through on a killing spree and just killing everything out there. So is Berlanti out of a job now? No, he's got tons and tons of stuff that he is still doing. But he's lost like half of his 50 shows that he's been on that he's producing. CW has been for sale and no one buys it. Yeah, that's because it's pretty much shit, Marks. It's been on sale for a long time. Back when it was called, what was it? Not the CW, but not the WB. Oh, fuck, what was it? I forget what it was called way back in the day, but, when it had Xena and Hercules and Cleopatra 2025 or 2525 and yeah, all that stuff. Some good news here, though. The production for Paper Girl season 2 is set to begin in September, but there still is no official word yet on from Amazon for the renewal. Yeah, so we don't know what's going on with that. Um, USA Network, no one watches Marks. Yeah. UPN, there we go. Thanks, Penn. That's what it was called. That's right. It was called UPN, the UPN network. Thank you. I remember now. Yes, back when it was called the UPN. It's been for sale since then. So, actually before the UPN, it was called the Action Max network before UPN. If you remember back that far. That was like early 90s. It was called the Action Max network. Uh yeah. Morks remembers the Action Max network. Exactly. That was when they briefly tried to revive Smokey and the Bandit as a series. I shit you not, they tried doing Smokey and the Bandit as a TV series. Oh man. I wish I could forget that shit, but unfortunately it's burned in. So yes, going back to Paper Girls, season 2 production is set for next month, but again, we haven't gotten an official renewal as of yet. I'm fairly sure they're going to announce it sometime soon here. Yes, I do remember Airwolf. Manimal is one of my favorites, man. Manimal was it only lasted what 2 seasons or a season and a half, something like that. But that was NBC, and yes, Manimal is one of my favorites. That should have, but he only turned into like a hawk. What is it? A puma, and I forget what else it was. A snake, I think, is what it was. That's all he ever turned into. He never turned anything cool. So yeah. Um, Also good news, Noah Howley has delivered all the scripts for the first season for the FX Alien series that's getting set to start shooting next year, which he's going to be working on. I'm looking forward to this thing. I remember Noah Hawley really, really talking about what he wanted to do for this thing, and that seems like it's going to be fucking awesome. Isn't Titans the same thing as Manimal? No, it's not. You're thinking of Beast Boy, and no, but kind of similar. That he only turns into a tiger, but they actually explain that in the series somewhat. That's because they don't have a special effects budget. You can go see Sandman on Netflix. Sorry, I'll talk about that later. Um, yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to Noah Hawley's X-Men, or not X-Men. Alien TV series. There we go. I'm also looking forward to how Noah Hawley's X-Men if he would do that. That would be awesome. Yes, Ridley Scott is not anywhere near this series at all. He might be a producer of it because they need to keep him on a producer of anything that's alien related, I think is what it is. But no, he doesn't have his hands in the pudding, so to speak, in any of this. So yeah, it has to be better than Raised by Wolves. Anything's better than Raised by Wolves. So now Space Snakes, possibly. Could be. This was something a little different. Idris Elba is going to star in David Lech, the guy who just did Bullet Train, the director for that. He also did Deadpool 1 and 2. He's going to star in the Netflix movie Bang, which is based on the Dark Horse comic about a spy sent to kill a novelist of a book series that's designed by terrorists to brainwash its readers into starting the apocalypse. Oh, I'm sorry, but it just made me laugh. It's so ridiculous that it's gonna work. I just saw Bullet Train yesterday, by the way, and it's just a fucking fun movie. It's one of those things you take your brain out, you put it in the bucket of popcorn next to you, and just let it have just let it sit there and just watch the movie. That's all it is. It's just a fun, stupid action movie. Um, it was a lot of fun, Stanley. I had a lot of fun with Bullet Train. It was one of those summer popcorn movies that, was so over the top out there with so many cameos to it that I was okay with it. It made me laugh, and I was inappropriately laughing at a lot of the deaths, I have to admit. Bullet Train's in the theaters, Pen, by the way. So, yeah, I was just laughing my ass off because, there are some very inappropriate death scenes. It's played for comedy like Deadpool, but I think I was the only person that was actually laughing during some of the more gruesome death scenes. So, yeah, I was sitting there, not the very front, but there's so the way the theater is set up where I was at, I went and saw this again in the Screen X where they put it on the sides of the theater, as well for certain scenes. So there is a stadium seating that is, goes down, and then you have a drop off at the stadium seating. I was right at at the other side of the drop off. So there was nobody there next to me at all, which is great. Mork says Bullet Train is fun. Okay, good because I've been super disappointed lately with Nope, Lightyear, JP, and all the recent blockbusters. Lightyear was okay. I saw it on Disney Plus, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't see that in the theater. So I am going to be covering Prey this week, Stanley. So I'm going to be covering Prey and Sandman. I'm still making my way through Sandman at the moment. I'm halfway through. I'm almost there. Um, but Prey, I'm done with. I'm not going to say yay or nay on that one just as of yet because, of course, I'm going to be covering it. So I will be talking about it. Stanley says derivative of Tarantino. I heard no, it's not derivative of Tarantino, Stanley. It's more Deadpool than anything else. If you watch Deadpool or Deadpool 2, it's the same type of humor. It is the same irrelevant kind of sense of humor, I would say. So it was fun with me. Yeah. Keith Hamilton has been watching Sandman right now. So far, it's pretty good. Okay. Stanley says Dan Trachtenberg is quite the nerd. He is. Yes. Yeah. So I'm probably going to end up setting that up for Wednesday, I believe, for Prey, and Sandman will probably be Friday. So that's what I'm going to do on those. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this Bang movie that's going to be on Netflix with Idris Elba. So David Lech, I didn't know this, but he was actually Brad Pitt's stunt double in Fight Club. That's how he started all of this. And then, excuse me, I got something in my eye there. Um, and then he became a director. So that's how Brad Pitt ended up in the cameo in Deadpool 2. Um, yeah, it's pretty funny. I had a good time with it. It's a fun movie. It really is. It's one of those movies I'm probably gonna buy it on 4K when it comes out. Um, just because it's one of those, action movies that you really don't need to think too much through, even though there is connections throughout the entire thing. Um, yeah, but it's not hard to put everything together. And as Netflix gives, they also take away. So Netflix has canceled First Kill after season 1. I'm sorry, Stanley, I know, but First Kill has been killed by Netflix. That was the one where a vampire and a vampire hunter fall in love, and they're both women, and supposedly it was just really super shitty. I didn't bother watching it, but yeah, mm, ugh, that's all I can say. It looked crappy. Let's just say that. So I'm sure that was the case. But Stanley's going to be really, really thrilled about this one. Writing has begun on an Outlander prequel series called Blood of My Blood. So that is going to be Showtime. And yes, that's a prequel, Blood of My Blood. So there you go. Stanley says, I'm almost finished with Sandman. I like it so far. A little much with changing characters. Constantine is quite miscast. And by the way, I'm gonna have issue with that whole Constantine thing. Maybe the British call it Constantine, but the rest of the world calls it Constantine. I know that Gaiman and Alan Moore keep saying Constantine, but Emperor Constantine, as the rest of the world calls him, because that was a Roman emperor, Emperor Constantine. That's yes. You know, the where Constantinople was actually named after him. Yes, that kind of thing. It's Constantine, not Constantine. Oh, you wacky British and your fucked up sayings and pronunciations. Keith Hamilton says First Kill worse than Netflix Resident Evil. Yes, supposedly. I haven't seen First Kill, so I couldn't tell you firsthand, but I have seen Resident Evil, and Resident Evil was weird, but not that bad. Penn says, Dennis, have you seen the new blinking plush Grogu? I'm trying to talk myself out of getting one. Do it, Penn. Buy it. That way, when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's staring at you, you'll know what happened. Yeah. Stanley says I was surprised by the pronunciation too. It seems to be a British thing. Yeah, supposedly I guess Gaiman like schooled somebody on Twitter that that's the way it's always been pronounced as Constantine, like wine. And I'm like, so you say Catherine instead of Catherine? Because otherwise that's, Catherine. Oh, wacky, wacky British people. I mean, come on. Oh, let me introduce you to my good friend over here, Catherine. Catherine, come here. Stop playing in the hedgerow. Fuck. Anyway, I'll get into that more on Friday. Yeah, that's all the news I got for you, by the way. So Outlander was the last thing I went out on here, and I got nothing else for you on that. It's been a somewhat slow news week. Again, the Batgirl thing took up a good majority of everyone's time, I guess you could say. Time, not time. Uh, yeah, it is pretentious CBM, like a lot of the series was. I mean, um, yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, it's if you're gonna quibble about how to fucking say a name, and then you're not even gonna have the version of the person who was originally in the book. Never mind. I've said too much already. Penn says I've enjoyed Outlander, but I don't need a prequel. Eh. Oh, you didn't watch the lesbian vampires? I thought you said you were going to, Stanley, or did you say you were not going to? I can't remember which one it was. But oh well. So yeah, I so going back to the whole Batgirl thing, the directors I think are partially to blame for this. And also just because of what happened with Miss Marvel. It was not the best of series, okay? Let's just say that. It didn't feel like an MCU series. It wasn't the best of the MCU series. As a matter of fact, for me, it's at the bottom of the MCU series. I know for a lot of other people it is as well. Viewership wise, it's at the bottom of the MCU series. Um, there's and then of course, because of what happened between that and Obi-Wan and taking down both viewerships because they both were mediocre for the most part, and so they both kind of dragged down viewerships of each other. That also caused Disney Plus to actually scrap their programming the way they do things and separate things out quite a bit more than what they should be, and on different days now. That also led to that whole decision. And then, of course, going through the whole tax loophole thing, like I said, when you have two companies merging and they're allowed to write off things that have already been completed. So movies, deals, things of that nature, they can just write off completely for the full amount. And that's the reason why you will never see Batgirl. Someone will probably sneak it out maybe 10 years from now, and we'll probably see a version of it that comes out. But it'll be bootleg more than anything else. But yeah. Speaking of vampires, did anyone watch Fire Bite? No, did not. Haven't even heard of that. I did see a trailer during Bullet Train for something called The Invitation, which they basically showed the entire movie in the trailer, which is some woman who might be the cousin. She does a DNA test and finds out that she has a cousin someplace from England. She meets up with them and he invites her out to England. Turns out that she's probably related to the Harkers, Mina Harker, Jonathan Harker, and that everyone's vampires and she's going to get married into the family. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah, it looks bad. Back in the day, it would have been direct to video or direct to DVD. It should have just been VOD, you know. You watched one episode of Firebite, huh? Yeah, I've been watching this thing on FX called oh god, I can't remember what it's called now. But basically, it's a Discovery Channel kind of thing where people have been, or a History Channel. That's right, it's a History Channel thing where people supposedly have artifacts they found, across the country, and so they call in the experts to see how old these things are. And so you have this group of experts going around the country. It's kind of like Oak Island, only they actually find shit. And they're going through and researching the shit that they found and find out that either it is something that is old or it isn't something that's old. Oh, it's on AMC. Okay. That's why I haven't seen it. Um, Stanley says I wasn't convinced, a little too cheap and a little too boring, but your mileage may vary. Yeah, the promos, if you watch the entire trailer pen, they actually give away the ending too. I mean, the ending literally at the very end of the trailer, I'm like, well, I don't need to see the movie now. I know how it ends. I mean, the entire movie from beginning to end, they show you everything. And it's just like, well, now I saved myself some money. For those of you who are wondering, she kills the vampire at the very end of the trailer. So the vampire that she's supposed to marry. You see her shove a stake through his chest and then kick it into his chest. So, yeah. CBM says I've been watching Only Murders in the Building. Yeah, everyone's been watching that. I haven't done it as of yet. I've been watching, of course, What We Do in the Shadows and Motherland, Fort Salem, which needs to fucking pick up some steam since it's on the last season anyway here. Yeah. You just caught up on Shadows. It's pretty funny. I mean, they did a good job, especially the whole everyone embezzling from the nightclub. I thought it was pretty funny, especially Guillermo. Yeah, I like OMITB. Okay, I don't know what that stands for, Stanley, but all right. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, it's mainly been Netflix. Like I said, I watched Prey. I'm gonna get into that on Wednesday about Prey. Uh, and then I'm in the middle of Sandman at the moment. Literally, I'm on episode 6 right now. That's where I'm at. Only Murders in the Building. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Steve Martin. So Steve Martin and Martin Short were supposed to be doing a show here in the Bay Area. I think they already did it or they're going to do it fairly soon, but tickets were fucking expensive. It was something like $175 a ticket, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And that's for, like, out in the nosebleeds kinda thing. And I'm like, "No, no, that's okay. You guys put it on, Amazon or Hulu or something like that, I'll watch it then." But, I mean, because quite honestly, for where those seats were gonna be for $175, it would be like watching it on TV anyway because you'd have to be watching the big screen. So, I would never see them up close and personal. So, really not worth it, especially for that price. I mean, come on, $175 is a month cable bill right there. So, yeah, they've been traveling, CBM. So Martin Short and Steve Martin have a show that they do, and they're traveling around. I think they started this around like 5, maybe no, 10 years ago. And they were traveling around doing this show. Then the pandemic happened. Then they started doing the show. Now they're doing the live show again too. So yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm not really into sitting in a theater next to other people at the moment. Um, Even though this would have been an outdoor theater, it's an amphitheater. Still not jazzed about that. As it is, about the only thing I'm willing to do right now is I'm going to go to Disneyland, but I'm going to be masked up to hell. I got my second booster already, and already getting ready to do, excuse me, all of that. Yeah, that week's going to be fun too because I'm really I might do one podcast in the middle of it while I'm on vacation. Maybe one, I don't know. Sitting with other people, yeah, exactly. So, I don't even like doing that in the movie theaters. The movie theater, that's why I was situated as far away from people as possible and had a good time. Yeah, I went to the expensive showing of a Bullet Train, and also I sat in an area where I knew no one was gonna go to, that they didn't wanna go to. People don't like sitting beyond, on the other side of the wall of the amphitheater. They wanna sit, or I should say in the stadium, they wanna sit up in the higher end. And I use that to my advantage. So, Stanley says, "I watched The French Dispatch in an open air setting and was scared of getting infected by all the nasty young people." Yep, yep. You should be in a university, Stanley, and see what kinda I watched some little fucker cough into his hand twice or sneeze into his hand twice, then use that same hand right after he sneezed in it to open up a door. So, yeah. And by little fucker, I mean somewhere in his, early 20s. CBN says, "I've only been to 2 movies in the last year." I've actually been to more, a lot more. But then again, like I said, this theater that I'm going to now, seats are separated out. Um, you're nowhere near anybody, and when you're not, eating or drinking, you're masked up. So, those are the rules. And I get tested regularly anyway, so it's not like, you know, I won't know if it happens or not. Yes, again, if you sneeze, yes, do that. I usually do that, so I don't, Stanley, so you watch Doctor Strange 2 indoors without a mask. Okay. Yeah, I watched it indoors as well, but, I wasn't masked while I was eating and drinking, but, other than that, yes, I was masked. So, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be Westworld. Westworld, that's right, is gonna be tomorrow. Um, Monday, excuse me, Tuesday, I'm gonna be off. Wednesday is going to be Is It Worth My Time? Pray. That's right. The FX movie Prey. Thursday is going to be Harley Quinn. Friday will be Is It Worth My Time? Sandman on Netflix, the Sandman series on Netflix. Saturday I will be off, and then we roll back around to Sunday morning, the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Yeah. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com, like Penn has up in the chat there. Take a look at the schedule. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages. Thanks, everyone. I will I'll see you again on tomorrow for Monday. My brain goes everywhere all at once. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. So stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and get those boosters as well. And don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may do things out of order and not remember what it is anyway, because it's just one of those weekends. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, have a good rest of your week and take care out there. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. See ya.